We're checking out some red flags that my followers ignored. I think it's safe to say we've all ignored red flags in a person at one point in our lives. And if you say you haven't, you're probably lying. These will be kept anonymous. I wouldn't want my red flags aired out. Oh, ended their whole face as I started seeing them. I like that this is in quotations, which means that the person they were dating had said to them, oh, I ended my whole face. That's definitely a red flag to me, but it's also like, if they're choosing to end it, maybe that's the start of a good beginning, right? Because they're like, oh, I don't want to be a hoe anymore. I do want to know though, do you guys believe once a player, always a player? Because that was such a saying when I was younger. But to me, it's like, no, I think people grow up and they kind of grow out of their player phase, or as it's called. So what do you guys think? I don't think once a player, always a player. I feel like you can kind of grow out of that as you mature. But let me know what you think. Getting ghosted by my crush in high school. Yeah, getting ghosted is most definitely a red flag. Most definitely. And a lot of times I see it happen to people where they get ghosted and then that person comes back months later after ghosting them, and then they take them back and they start talking to them. And it's like, no, because they're only talking to you when it's convenient for them. Absolutely not. Red flag, 100%. If they ghost you, they're not worth your time. She worked with my mother. Mom set us up. Then she screwed mom out of her job. Oh, the drama. This is some tea. Okay, your mom works with this person and your mom wanted to set you up with this person. Immediately, I feel like for me, I don't know if I might not be into that. I don't know if I want my mom working with my person. You know? I feel like that's a mess waiting to happen, just in case something happened, you guys didn't work out. Anyway, so mom works with this person, sets you up with this person, and then that person screws your mom out of her job. Yikes. That's a mess. I really wish I got more details about this because I have a lot of questions and I want to know what actually happened. Yeah, that's a red flag for me though. I don't think I would get involved with someone my mom was setting me up with if she works with them. Very possessive. Okay. I feel like this is the #1 flag that we see most often in couples. Whether that's the female is possessive, whether that's the male is possessive. I feel like we see that all the time because people have trust issues, which sometimes it's valid because partner is cheating on them. But possessiveness is most definitely a red flag. If you start a relationship with someone and they're like that and you haven't given them any reason to have trust issues with you or anything like that, like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. That means they are still bringing some problems that they're dealing with inside themselves from past relationships or personal trauma into this. And I'm telling you, you don't deserve to pay the price for that. Listen, I'm kind of speaking on my behalf here, okay? I was in a relationship where, the person cheated on me and I had a lot of trust issues. So I was single for so long after that because I didn't want to get involved with someone with still having all those trust issues and then take it out on the next person because that's not fair. It wasn't them. So if I have any word of advice, that is it. No. Wow, I feel like I'm just really giving the best advice today. Say you wanted to hang out with me, but wanted me to go to him because he wouldn't come to me. Yeah, no. Like all the time? I understand if it's mutual and you guys take turns, but all the time? You had to go to him every time? Bro, do you know the price of gas? Like, not a chance. I remember when I first got involved with someone, I did all the driving when we were first seeing each other. So it was always like, oh, you drive, you pick us up. And I did all the time. And I remember just biting the bullet because I liked him. But at the same time, I do remember being very annoyed inside, being like, why am I always driving? Picking you up and doing everything. But I did do it. And yes, he had a car. And yes, the car worked fine. Yeah, I should have seen it. I should have seen the red flags, yo. Arrogant people. Well, yes. I mean, that is quite an obvious red flag, yet a lot of people choose to ignore it. I feel that you should, on your first date especially, but even just like when you're seeing them, you should pay attention to how they treat other people. Like when people are like, how do they treat a waitress? Yes. Like how do they interact with people just in everyday life things? Like in a drive-thru, how do they speak to somebody? How do they treat a waiter or waitress? How do they talk to people like just in everyday conversations? I don't know. I feel like that is so important. Like, do they have an arrogance to them? You know what I mean? Or do they come across entitled? I feel like you gotta pay attention to that because it speaks volume. I feel like I am just preaching but not taking my own advice in the past. I mean, let me tell you, in the past, I'm pretty sure everything we've seen so far, I have ignored. So I'm just telling you because I've learned, hopefully, from past situations. I'm 30 now. I have a few weeks until I turn 30. So I've had my fair share of red flags and failed relationships. Telling my girlfriend I love you and she responds, okay, she dumped me. Oh, that's really sad. That is really sad. Like personally, yeah, it would be a red flag because they're clearly just not on the same page as you are and they're not feeling the same way you are. And obviously when you love someone, you want them to love you back. So yeah, if someone responded with, okay, yeah, my heart would be broken, number one. But I would just be like, okay, well, like, what are we doing then? You know, like, I feel like you gotta have that conversation. Oh my God, twice? Oh no. One time in my life, someone said, I was dating them and they said, I love you. And I didn't say it back. I'll never forget that moment in my life where I was just like, and I was like stunned. And it's not like, I really liked him, but I wasn't in love with him. And I knew that. So I was like, I don't want to say it when I don't mean it. So I didn't say it and I felt so horrible. And oh my God, that just like brought back the memory of like my heart. I was so uncomfortable and I felt so bad because he was a good person. When he or she says, I love you without proving it first. Like love bombing. I feel like this is what people call love bombing, the kids these days. But it's where like someone says I love you very early on and they like profess their love to you through words. So it's like love bombing. So that's interesting when they say I love you without proving it first. Because listen, I feel like when it's true love, I feel like you can always tell just by their actions. Does that make sense? Like it's not about what they say to you. It's not about them being like, oh my God, I love you so much. You're the best thing they have. Okay, cool. We've all heard that before. I've had exes say that to me. So yes, like it happens. People say that to you. But I feel like it's the actions where you know when someone is like really in love with you. That's a good point. I've never thought of it that way. Yeah. You should already know that that person loves you based on their actions. I feel like before they say it to you, right? Wow, I feel like I've just had this like epiphany. Like that is so true. And looking back at past relationships where I love you was said first, and now that I'm thinking back and being like, but their actions didn't quite match up, it's like, whoa! This has been an incredible learning moment for me. Back in secondary/high school, I was dating this ex, which didn't want for us to be seen together. Also this person never finished their story. I wish they did, but the red flag is that they didn't want you to be seen together because why not? There's obviously a reason for that and that alone is a red flag. Like, are you seeing other people? Are you embarrassed of me? Like, what is the reason you don't, like, I wouldn't even date someone if they didn't want us to be like seen together. What's the point? Let's not even waste our time. Telling someone I love you and they don't say it back. Found out they just used me. Okay, so this has happened to somebody else. Actually, I saw a few of these throughout all the answers about I love yous and stuff. And I already shared my experience of me not saying it back. And let me tell you, I should finish the story. We did not date for very much longer after that because I knew where my heart was and it just wasn't in it. So anyways, the right thing ended and we are we were friends after that. It was fine. However, when you do say I love you and they don't say it back, it might not be a red flag if they tell you like, hey, I really do have love for you and I really like you, but I'm just not ready yet because it's still early, so I would love to continue this with you. But if it's like you've been dating for a very long time, you know, the love is very much there for you and they're just like, then yeah. Like, you guys just gotta kind of evaluate the situation. Wow, I feel like this was like a therapy session. You know what I mean? So I hope you learned something today because I sure did. And maybe we won't ignore red flags like this in the future. So let me know if you guys have red flags, put them down below in the comments. Not like your own red flag. Well, you can post that too. But I meant like other red flags that you've ignored from other people. And if you want to be part of my follower videos, make sure you follow me on Instagram because I put them on my stories. You can find me there. It is linked down below in the description. I'm out of here, you guys. I will see you in another video. Don't ignore the red flags. Don't do it. And don't take advice from me, truly, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'll see you next time.